Hey guys, this is Jay. I am updating a smarthelping.com template, the kiosk, automated kiosk, or basically a general vending machine. So I worked on a client with this, and they had some pretty specific assumptions that I think would actually be relevant for a lot of people. So most of the model works exactly the same. We got our three-statement modeling, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, discounted cash flow analysis, and visuals. But the main update is on the deployment schedule. So this is all completely new and different than the default kiosk model, and I'll explain it. So instead of having multiple tranches of deployments with deployment 1 has 10 kiosks, deployment 2 has 20, etc., each of these rows represent a single deployment of a single kiosk machine up to, let's see, I think we did 10 here, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's up to 10 deployments. And for each machine, you could define the description, the month that the deployment happens, the total cost, and then the first new thing here would be ongoing cost per month per deployment. So in this case, we're saying this deployment here cost us 50,000. Also, once we get going, it's going to be $250 a month in, let's say, a rental fee. And then you've also got some ongoing costs, repairs, labor, and monitoring, or what have you. And these would be monthly costs. Uh, Very good to look at the unit economics of a single location. And this is also very important if you expect very different assumptions about each location. So this model lets you figure out what that looks like at a scale of up to 10. Then we have pricing, sales, and growth. So we have up to 3 products that can be sold out of the vending machine. You have the total price of each product. You have the annual sales expected of each product. So this is the assumptions of each vending machine that's deployed. It all has the same logic. You can do annual sales here, year 1, and then define a growth rate for year 2 and 3. Sales for product type 2, let's say we're going to 12,000 units a year, and then we think we'll grow at this rate. And then another update here is we have seasonality. So of these annual sales that each machine is going to do, you can update when the sales happen in the year. So we're saying here, for example, in year 1, of the total 10,000 units, we're going to do 20% in April, 25% in May, 25% in June, 10% July, etc. And that will apply to each year dynamically. One thing to note, if deployment here happens, let's say in year 2, we start. So let's say we go to February 2026. In this case, the model started in 2025. This machine will start out at the year 1 expected unit sales and grow from there. So it doesn't assume, like if you do a deployment in year 3, it doesn't automatically jump that unit to 11,000 units. It starts it over at the first initial expected amount and then goes from there. Every 12 months it will increase. Now all of this logic and dynamic nature of this happens right here in the matrix tab. So this is how I put it all together. You can see units sold. Let's do an example. Well, that one we started all the way out. Where did I start it at? Which one? Expansion 3 started here in February. We had no sales until April because of our seasonality. So you can see this is starting at 2,000 units, not 2,100 like the rest of them. Even though we are in year 2 for this vending machine or kiosk, it started at its base sales, expected sales forecast. Now it'll go up now in year 2 for this machine. Now it's at 2,100, but these other ones been around for 3 years are at 2,226 for that month. Okay, so that's revenue. So you've got machine deployments. This is the configuration for what the sales are expected to be per machine over time. Now, if you wanted to get more complicated, you could define an expected annual sales and sales growth of each individual expansion if they were in different areas and you expected that. But for the purpose of this model and the client that I built it for, this was completely perfect how it works with this logic applying to every single individual expansion with these numbers. Okay, and then finally we do have some more cost of goods sold here, and this is every time you sell a unit, you have up to 3 costs that could happen, and for each of the products you're selling out of the vending machine. So product 1, we're charging $5. Every time we sell a unit, it's going to cost us a penny for this cost, 13 cents for this cost, and 5 cents for this cost. So total cost per unit per sale is 19 cents, and you're making $5 on top line on that. We've also got sales tax hitting. This is assuming your all-in price you're charging is this amount, and so you have to pay sales tax on that. You're not charging extra to the customer above this price, so that means that 7% of this is going to be a cost. You've also got potentially credit card fees, so you can define the percentage of your sales you think will be cash versus credit card and what the credit card fee is, and that will populate based on the expected revenues. Chart here is just units sold per day by kiosk and in total. So by kiosk is over here, what an individual kiosk is doing on average. And then in total across everything, here's what your total is. You can see we're slowly going up. We start at 225. Well, sorry, on this one, we're starting at 900 units sold per day, up to 1100, and then up here to 1200. And that's going to be across. Now, if I were to delay some of these launches into the future, you can see the numbers start to change. Let's say we did here, April 2026, and then let's go May 2026. And then let's also say we scale this out for another 10. You can see how the numbers start to go up. And let's say these last two happen in 2027. You get a little bit of a variance there. Yeah, so average sales per day, total units sold per day. So this is per kiosk per day. Now, again, we do have seasonality, but these figures, let me see the calculation. If we go to the monthly detail here, so zeros on our 0 seasonality days, then here we're just taking the total units sold per day, which is total units sold in the month divided by the days in the month. Okay, so that makes sense. And then average sales per day per kiosk, you just divide that by the total units that have been deployed. So this number down here should not be changing much. Average sales per day per kiosk. It will change with the seasonality, so 180, 220, 220, 87, but the numbers after year over year shouldn't change a whole lot. Now the numbers here are changing because you're growing with scale. So here, this is total units sold per day across the entire, all of the deployments. And remember, this is per day in the month that there are sales. So this average is only based on this average here in blue, average sale, or this one in yellow, total units sold per day. It's 0 for many of the months that have nothing, and then here, so you're doing, 700 a day, 1100 a day, and that gets you to, and that makes sense, because if you're doing 10,000 units a year, and let's say you've got 10 units, so that you're starting out at 10,000 times 10, 100,000 units a year, you divide that by, let's say across 6 months, That's 16,000 over that time, and then you got to divide that by uh, the days in 6 months. Let's say 180. Let's see, did I do that right? 1,300 a day. So if we did, let's say 700 a day, that'd be 7 times 30. That'd be 21,000. This would be 30,000. So 50. This would be 39,000. So 90,000. 600. Try to make sure this makes sense here. 777. So let me do this. Total units sold per day. If I multiply this, let's just say times 30. This should give us our annualized, so 26,000. Okay, that seems to make sense. Then this is 156,000 units. Are we doing 156,000 units? Let's see. Oh, I don't have unit sales here. I just have sales, but I do have unit sales on here. So let's see. We've got 3 types. So year 2, we're doing 60, 130, 160, 160,000 units. Okay, I think that makes sense. So 160,000 units a year. You divide that 160,000 divided by about 180 days. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 months we are active. 888, and we're saying it's 13, 11, 7. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. So that chart's validated, just so you guys know now. That does make sense. Let me just make sure I don't have any extra calculations here in the file. Okay. And that was just the averages. And then I was adjusting the dates down here. Okay, perfect. So that's the main update. Now, the other smaller update on the OpEx tab, I just made more fixed costs up to 10, and this is a little bit simplified compared to the default version. I think it's better having a simple OpEx tab with 10 slots, and then the deployment schedule having the dynamic cost per deployment, and cost of goods sold here makes the most sense. So that's all the updates. I did a couple just on the executive summary. I updated the break-even calculation as well as added all of the cash flow items here to get down the cash flow. Before it was just showing the basically operating income. So now it's a little bit more comprehensive for that. The IRR, I referenced just the discounted cash flow analysis figure. In this case, with the numbers I have in here, we're raising more money than we needed. So if I take out any debt, we're at 76,000. Big IRR there. And remember, on this model, you don't have to include the terminal value. You could hit no, and then it'll just show you your operations each year without any exit happening in year 3. Now, normally I do 5-year models or 10-year. This was a specific case when I first built it, like I think in 2017. I can't remember when. It was like 6, 7 years ago. So this is a very old version of the executive summary. And I think it's actually the only model that I just have the option for 3 years. But some people just need 3 years. Well, the client I built it for originally only needed 3 years, and the client I just did this modification for only needed it for 3 years. So um, that's what we ended up on this. Now, if we didn't want to put 76,000 into this, you can always put a little bit of debt here, maybe a $25,000 loan, increase your return IRR, less capital required. But that's the update. Now on the default version, I also did. So this is how the old version worked, which is also available in the on the purchase page, which I'll take you to here in a second. But this is the other method. This is more for large scaling, hundreds and hundreds of units over time, and then pricing based on the maximum capacity you could do, and then the improvement in that, as well as a stabilized amount of units sold uh, per day per machine. And then it has cost of goods sold here. It does have 3 unit types. It has a little bit more charts, but this is more for scaling. The other model is more for single unit, going up to 10 vending machines and seeing how that goes. And you can see the running costs on here are a little bit different. The executive summary is updated just like the other one. Um, and yeah, it has income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement as well. So those are the updates on that. So been doing some fun financial modeling. If you want to get the templates, let's see where you can go. Over to smarthelping.com. If you go to the home page, industries, and then I believe the kiosk is under retail. Yep, kiosk automated. So that's right here for 45 bucks. You can get this template and start analyzing your startup. It's also included in the industry specific bundle for $300 if you want all of these different financial models, including the kiosk. It's also in the retail trade financial model bundle. And if you scroll down here, you can see the highlighted updates in the model I just went over, which is just the deployment assumptions, OpEx, and then I just show the monthly detail here. So I think that's, I love improving the site every day, do something a little bit better, make something a little bit better, and tell you guys about it. This is my life every day. I'm doing financial modeling. You can hire me, $275 an hour. Usually jobs like that, take, maybe 1 to 3 hours to do modifications. I also do build from scratch work, and I'm fairly flexible and available on time. Turnaround usually between 1 and 2 days, and I'm available for same day work right now. If I'm not, I will change this. And remember, check out all financial models here. I've done models, hundreds of templates here for all different industries. I've got a lot of specialties in recurring revenue and SaaS, as well as in real estate underwriting, joint venture distribution templates like waterfalls for preferred return, IRR hurdles, preferred equity, all sorts of different joint venture structures here that you can check out and learn from or use in your own endeavors. Uh, General valuation tools. The most interesting of this is the latest general leverage buyout model is pretty awesome, which is also included in the industry specific bundle I was at earlier, and the exit readiness scorecard. These two are really cool. I like them a lot. They're newer. Um, there's also some accounting templates here just for things like calculating weighted average cost of capital. I do have a financial statement generator for actuals here. That's pretty, it can do accrual or cash basis. Uh, where is that? This one, financial statement generator. This one took me quite a lot of time. I actually streamed it live when I built this a couple years ago, and it is awesome. You can do a lot with this. Automated monthly, quarterly, and annual financial statements. That's income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, and transaction log that you can enter your transactions in. All kinds of stuff. Let's see. If you want to see all the different things you can do or deal with, there's a lot here. It would fit most situations. So that's a pretty nice accounting tool. But yeah, this is what I do. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one.